former champions coming back. Anthony Pettis is back at 155. He'll be fighting July 8th at UFC 213. He'll be fighting Jim Miller, and he joins us right now on the phone. Anthony, are you there?
I'm good, man. How you doing, Ariel?
I'm doing great. Great to talk to you again. In Toronto that night, UFC 206, did you know that you were done at 145 and that your next fight would be at 155?
Yeah, 1,000,000%, man. I tried the hardest to make the weight. I came in like the lightest I've ever came in before for a weigh-in. I was like 6.8 pounds over coming into the week of, and I just couldn't get the weight off. It was just one of them things, man. My body shut down, and I'd never felt that way before, so I just knew that was it for me at 45.
Do you regret going down to 145 to begin with?
You know what? I was chasing gold, man. You can't blame a guy for trying to get two belts in two different divisions. I probably wasn't the best timing for me, but I was chasing gold. I fought one time at 145, and then I fought for pretty much a title shot.
Yeah.
So I had to change my mindset a little bit. I took 6 months off for this fight, and we I just had fun again training and just got back to just martial arts, not chasing belts and chasing wins and caring about what social media says and what the fans say. I just got back to getting my little brother ready. A week away from getting Serge ready for his fight. He's looking phenomenal, and then I start right back into my training camp.
How much damage do you think you did to your body by trying to go down to 145? Because I remember seeing you on that scale in Toronto, and you obviously didn't seem to be in the best health possible. I mean, it just seemed like you were very gaunt and tired and dehydrated. Do you think you did damage to your body?
Yeah, most definitely. You really don't know. When I said I was going to make 45, I was like, it can't be that hard. 10 more pounds, I shouldn't be able to make it. No problem. First time I did it, we made it pretty simple, honestly. And then the second time, I got extra ready, and it just didn't come off. I mean, my body just wasn't agreeing with it. So I think, the weight cuts are brutal, and then trying to cut the extra 10 pounds wasn't the best idea. But when you learn, and you got to grow from that.
I know this is kind of a crazy question, but I'm just curious. Have you ever thought like a 155 version of Anthony Pettis that night in Toronto? Do you think that you don't get finished? Like, do you think that the weight cut puts you at a disadvantage just walking into the cage?
1,000,000%. Yeah. I mean, I couldn't even walk down to the scale. I had to drink water and put some electrolytes in my body to walk down, weigh in for the fight. It was,
wow.
Most guys probably wouldn't have fought. I'm not making an excuse, but most guys wouldn't have fought. The way I was feeling. The UFC doc was up there watching me, and I couldn't even walk downstairs to get on the scale.
How close were you to not fighting, to pulling out of the fight?
That wasn't an option. They made us the main event. I would have ruined that card, so that wasn't an option. It was just like how I told the doc, I'm like, either you want me to cut this extra pound. I got all the way up to 1.4 over. I'm like, either I cut this extra pound and probably not fight, or I just go on the scale and miss weight. And he's like, well, it's your call. And as a team, we just said, you know what, let's just get down there, get on the scale, and race that day and fight the next fight.
Yeah. Considering all the stuff you've been through in your career, would you say that whole experience of trying to make it and the title fight and all that and missing the weight, was that the most difficult experience of your career?
Oh, most definitely, man. Missing weight's is one of them things that no one wants to happen. And I thought we were prepared. I had my nutritionist out with me for almost two months, and it's just one of them things. Your body just, if it doesn't want to let the weight go, it won't let it go.
Was Max better than you thought he would be?
Max is durable. I hit him with the first check hook, and I broke my right knuckle. First punch, like the first check hook, I went from southpaw stance, and immediately I just it wasn't in my head. I missed the weight. I broke my hand. I just felt like all the odds were against me. I still kept going. I started playing the teep game and started playing these other games where I wasn't having to hit him with the big punches. But the dude got the chin.
Okay, so what happened with the hand? Because at first I heard that you broke it, then you may not have broken, then you
it was broken.
It was broken.
Yeah, I broke first punch. My right knuckle, the big a pointer finger knuckle. I broke it, pushed back in. So I didn't need surgery. I think that's where the confusion came in.
Okay.
It broke, so it was still in line. It broke, so it was still in line with my I guess the knuckle underneath it broke, pushed down, but they didn't need to do the surgery to make it fix. So I just had to sit out. I had to wear a cast for a couple weeks, and that was it.
And how's the hand now? Like, are you able to use it fully, 100%?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the hands always take a beating, but I just got to take care of them a little better.
Okay.
Tape them up more and make sure I'm ready.
And so you mentioned the break. I mean, obviously a lot has happened to you since becoming the champion. are you going to completely reinvent yourself? Are you changing things drastically in training? Like, what is this new, this new Anthony Pettis going down to back up to 155, the breakout? Like, what does this really all mean?
Man, it's back to where I belong. That's my home. 155 was my home. I had a bad little tear with the the RDA, obviously losing that fight. And then I go into training camp to fight Miles Jury, and I fracture my elbow. There's surgery, and I'm out 3 months. And then I go right into Eddie Alvarez's fight for #1 contender fight, and then fight to Barboza. So I put myself in a bad position, 55, because of the rush trying to get back to a title shot. And this time I'm coming back, and I'm just taking one fight at a time. I got a solid guy in front of me. I asked for Jim Miller. I think he's one of those guys that always comes and brings it. And the fight's on.
I think some people would be surprised to hear you say that you asked for Jim Miller. Why did you want that fight? Just given the fact that he's a wrestler and, the knock has always been, your takedown defense. Why did you want that fight?
Just for that reason.
Okay.
I think he's one of them guys that does the wrestling, he does the grinding. He's nonstop in your face, and he comes to fight too. So, I've never backed away from a fight. I never backed away from an opponent. I never said no to an opponent. So, everybody else at the 155 division was kind of taken or had something set up already, and Jim Miller made sense.
Wow. Okay. And so that was the #1 choice right off the bat. No one else. You wanted him.
#1 choice, Jim Miller.
Wow.
#1 choice, Jim Miller.
That's funny.
Rufus actually took that.
Really?
I asked Duke, I'm like, who do you think who's next? And first guy he said was Jim Miller. We asked for Jim Miller, and he definitely, Jim doesn't say no to anybody either, so he agreed to the fight. And I think it's a good fight for the fans as well.
Yeah, a lot of people are excited to see you back at 155. I always love when a former WEC lightweight fights Jim Miller, because he was the guy who said that all of you were overrated when you were coming over to the UFC. So no one really remembers this except for me. But do you remember that comment?
Yeah, I remember that.
You do?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, before he fought Ben Henderson, yeah, I remember.
Yeah, and so and does this? Is that part of your thinking as well, or not really?
No, not really, man. I think I came in and proved myself immediately. I had a rough spot against Clay Guida, and I went off and just had a run. So it's only a matter of time, man. I've been fighting for a long time. It's only a matter of time before I figure it all out again and get back to where I was at.
Do you think it is inevitable that you will get that belt again?
You know what? There's so many good guys in the UFC, but that's my only goal is to become a champion. This time around, I'm not going to rush to it. Like last time, like I said, I gave you the list of guys that I fought in less than a year.
Yeah.
And then I went down to 45 and fought the #1 contenders right away too. So I'm going to take my time and do it right. Build my I guess it's my energy back up and my vibe and my whole just persona. I got to get that back to where I was at before. I felt invincible, and it's going to take one fight at a time to do it.
When you look back at your run as champion, do you feel like you took it for granted at all?
No, not at all. I feel like I took it for what it was. I had that year off against Melendez to do Ultimate Fighter show. Came right back and fought RDA, and everybody knows that story. So it was just one of the things I guess as an athlete you just got to figure out.
Yeah. How long? Go ahead.
I think after the title shot is what I take for granted. I was a champ, and all I kept thinking was like, all right, I'm getting that belt back. So just line them up, and it just didn't work that way. So
you thought it would just be very easy to get right back in that picture?
Oh, I still do, but now we're taking it one step at a time.
Right. And how long did you spend away from the gym after the fight in December? Did you take a big break?
Well, Sergio was getting ready right away. So I just stayed away from my career. I stopped thinking about who I'm fighting next, what weight class, where do I go from here? All the critics saying Pettis needs to retire, or what, all this stuff. I took a break from that. I think I was believing in that too much, and I just focused on getting Serge ready. Other guys on my team, we got some new faces in the UFC. Gerald Mershart on the same card as me this time. So I went back to having fun at the gym.
Did people actually call for you to retire? You read that?
Well, oh yeah, a lot of times. A lot of people, a lot of opinions online, and if you listen to that, and you can actually make yourself go crazy listening to that stuff. So
yeah,
I just backed away from all that. Hung out with my daughter and took some time off, and we'll focus on Serge. Serge wins this fight. I think he's one step away from a title shot.
Yeah, and of course he's fighting this weekend. Very big card for the UFC, but a big fight for him against Henry Cejudo. Could very well be a #1 contender fight. Do you like this matchup for him?
I think it's necessary. A guy like Cejudo is always going to be, top 3 guys. Benavidez, Cejudo, Demetrius Johnson. So I think it's necessary for where he's at in his career.
And will you be there with him? Will you be cornering him?
Yeah, we actually we just left the hot tub right now. We're going to hit his last practice, and then we leave out tomorrow morning.
I kind of like the this. It's somewhat poetic of you guys going back to Dallas, because the last time you were there, it wasn't a very good night for you guys.
This is my first time going back to Dallas.
Oh, how do you feel about that?
I mean, I like the city, but it was just one of them nights that I wanted to erase that memory. And you know, even if I had layovers in Dallas, I would just switch them around and go somewhere else.
Wow.
But I think you know, me and Serge talked about it. It's time for him to redeem us, man. Like, that was a crappy night for the Pettis team, and you know, it's his turn to go out there and make it go right.
Was he hesitant about fighting on that card as well? Because
not at all.
Really?
Nope, not at all. No, okay. He was immediately like, "Yep, let's set it up. Let's do it."
By the way, any update on that situation with your cars being set on fire?
Yeah, it was actually, man, it was some little kids that are part of a gang here in Milwaukee. I'm not sure what their objective was or what the reasoning was, but, you know, they caught the kids. They have to write me. They're like 13 years old, man. It was sad that he's here. Like, these kids are in like 8th grade doing stuff like that. But they all had to write me, you know, apologizing letters and saying they're sorry and how they changed. And I didn't get their names, obviously, but I get letters from the correctional facilities for these little kids that just decided to go do some dumb stuff in Milwaukee, I guess.
Wow. Why you? Like, yeah. Were they just being punks, or was there a reason why they were going after your cars?
Well, I heard they saw, you know, some Range Rovers and some Porsches in the driveway, and one of the kids had to, like, prove himself to the gang, and that was his way of proving it.
Damn. Did you get new cars?
Yeah. Of course, yeah. I had insurance.
Oh, okay. Did you move?
No way I'm moving, man. The house that I live in, I bought that house because my father's buried behind it. There's a cemetery behind my house, and that's where my father's at. So there's no way I'm moving up from that house. Oh, wow. So you can see it from your house? You can see the cemetery? Well, I mean, you have to look through the woods. There's like some woods separating the house and the cemetery, but, you know, that's part of my jogging route. I jog to my pops and back home, and, you know, that's something I'm not going to change that because of somebody else's decision to do something stupid in life.
Do you jog there every day?
I mean, I take different routes all the time, but he's so close. It's less than a mile from my house, so, you know, I take different routes, and I get to drive past him and see him all the time.
Wow, that is amazing. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So when I was a kid, man, like that neighborhood that I live in was like one of the nicer neighborhoods in Milwaukee, and, you know, I always said I'm gonna have a house, you know, where my dad was buried, and I got to do that, so I wouldn't change that.
Wow. Do you ever stop there and like and speak to him, or are you not that kind of?
All the time. Yeah. Before every fight, before Serge's fights, when I'm going through hard times, all the time.
Wow, that is amazing. So how would you describe, like, right now everyone wants to know, like, where's Anthony Pettis at mentally? Where are you at going into this July fight, 2 months away?
I'm just excited, man. I'm just excited. I took 6 months off. I haven't had a 6 months break in a long time, you know, since the Melendez fight. But I'm just excited to go back out there, you know, tough opponent, and be in a weight class I'm comfortable in. You know, that 145 cut, the whole camp was just me cutting weight. It wasn't me getting better. It wasn't me, you know, trying to get new game plans. It was just really me cutting weight. I had to run double the amount. I had to do like less physical activity because I was just too weak. But, you know, it is what it is. Like you said, you live and you learn. I've made some good money in the 145-pound division, but now I'm going back to my home, my 155-pound division.
Love it. Welcome back, Anthony. Great to hear that you're in good spirits, good mental state, and looking forward to this fight. And, of course, good luck to your brother this Saturday.
Thanks, bro.
All right, there he is, Anthony Pettis. It's always like I'm running a marathon when I'm talking to him, because he's almost like so intense with, and his answers are coming at you so quick that you have to be ready, like boom, 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 like you're sparring with him. But that was a fascinating little anecdote there about his house and his father's grave. I never knew that. That's amazing. So he's back at 155. He's fighting Jim Miller, and also interesting to note that he asked for the Jim Miller fight. I think a lot of people would be surprised to hear that, considering, as I said, the knock on him has always been that wrestling is his kryptonite. I still feel, call me crazy, that the man who is on the cover of that Wheaties box right over there, I still feel like he has another run in him. I'm not ready to throw in the towel on Anthony Pettis just yet. He's still a young guy. Yes, he has hit a rough patch, but I still feel like he's got another run in him, at least one. So let's see what happens on July 8th.